Hey ho guys, it's me again. I'm recording this on my Android phone, which is doing some really weird shit of late. Anyway, how have you all been? Yeah, so I've been away for a little while again. So I was talking to Gash Slug there the other week, and I just chatting to him about getting back into brewing, and he encouraged me to, at least keep some little bit into it, if not get back into it fully. And then I found out about, I think it was on one of Steve Molson's videos, about the new BrewTube page on Facebook, and I'll link that down below. So between that and talking to Gash, I said, you know what, look, I started it now with those 3 kits. I'll keep tipping away some bit, even though I'm really not in a position to go back into it full bore at the moment. I'm due to move again before the summer, so that's going to put everything on hold all over again. So if I don't attempt to keep my toes in the water now, I might never go back to it. That's just basically what's been happening to me. But check out that link for the Facebook BrewTube page down below, and you should join up. I was talking to another friend of mine on the Homebrew Ireland page on Facebook, which I'll also link below, Paddy Darcy, the other day. And he'd gotten a kit from Get Her Brewed in the north. Now, I haven't bought off of them in over 3 years for reasons I won't go into. But discussing the kit on the page, and he persuaded me he encouraged me to try one of their extract kits. As I said, going back to basics, extracts and kit and kilo, whatever. So I went for the wee heavy, which I think was 24 euros roughly. I came back originally at the start of last year to brewing after 10 months off. Long story, but that got interrupted, so I had to stop again, so we won't go into that. But when I was thinking of coming back, I actually started talking to Big Banana, which I just copped his channel on YouTube, and I think he might have been just coming in around then. So that would make sense because he just had his first year anniversary. I started talking to him because he had a Pico boiler and a false bottom, which I believe he got both of them from Get Her Brewed in the north. And I also had a Pico boiler, as you can see over there. And I was questioning him on, is it worthwhile getting the false bottom from Get Her Brewed? And he had some reservations. He basically enables you to use your Pico boiler as a brew in the bag mash tun, or as a normal mash tun without the bag. That's the false bottom there. So basically you've got an outer ring, you've got a really fine micro mesh there. This is the way it goes down. That tab lies down flat. As you can see, there's no extra cross member support running across it, but it's only €12.50. So I was talking to him about that last year, and here's a couple of the concerns that he had with it and why I think he stopped using it. The Pico boiler only comes with that element there installed and the tap, and when the false bottom is sitting in it, it's resting on the back nut of the tap, and it's resting on the top of the back plate of that. So it's no support over on this side at all. And basically what was happening was, when he was putting in his brew in a bag, the weight of the grain, it was collapsing down on one side. And so it wasn't utterly useless, but it wasn't as effective as what it should be. And it was more a pain in the arse than that. And so I think he ended up stopping using it, although I think he does still have the Pico boiler. However, when I got this contraption first, I had issues around the installed element not being strong enough. So I actually installed the second one directly opposite like that. So I actually have 3 points of support. Now, when I was talking to my friend Paddy the other day, and he persuaded me to get the kit off of Get Her Brewed, the wee heavy, I decided to go and finally go and buy the false bottom as well. It's €12.50. I said, look, if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. For €12.50, you can't really go wrong. The only thing is, when I went to put it in the Pico boiler last night, basically the elements that I have, I had the how would I describe it? I had them turned the wrong way around. Basically, there are those elements that have 2 straight bars and then a big loopy bit. And I had the loopy bit on top and the 2 straight bars on the bottom. And because of that, the element is tilted up slightly like that. And it was touching off the mesh, so I had to flip them upside down. And Jesus, I had an awful dose because it hasn't been used in so long. The back nuts, everything were seized. I got it done eventually. Because I'd done so much mulligan around, I had to do leak tests then. So I did a cold water test first, 25 litres for half an hour, and then I decided to basically boil that and see if there was any leaks. All was successful anyway. The reason I bring that up, in case any are thinking of getting those, is something that I remembered last night that Big Banana had said as well. When I was doing the boil test, the plastic of course softens or expands or whatever you want to say. And what actually happened was that even though I was resting on the back plate of that, it actually slipped off, and the outer ring, that outer ring there, because the plastic softened, slipped off and fell down. It was actually touching those 2 straight bar, the straight bar part of the element. Now I know in the normal course of events you wouldn't have that false bottom in when you would actually be boiling. You'd only be using it at mash temps. But there again you're going to have say 6 or 7 kilos of grain in. It's going to be up around the 70C. The plastic at 70C with the weight of the grain, same thing could happen. It remains to be seen. I will test it. My question is, if that slips off when it's in use, and when you're using it as a mash tun, and you would have it rigged up with an STC or something so the elements would be maintaining the temperature, if the outer ring slips off the back plate and actually ends up touching the elements, is that going to cause an issue? Now, the other thing is, because there's no cross member support and you just have that fine micro mesh, with the weight of the grain bag in on top of it, if you have sufficient grain and it pushes the mesh down on top of the elements, will that also cause an issue when they're in use? Bag or grain getting scorched aside, will it cause some other issue? That's about it, guys. At the moment I'm just basically trying to clean up the Pico boiler because it's absolutely manky. I'm trying to clean up that fermenter there. I'm hoping to either get to brewing that wee heavy kit either this evening or more than likely tomorrow. I've my 2 cubes out the back with hot water, touch of Star San and a scoop of OxyClean. But because they haven't been used in over 12 months and unfortunately they were kind of damp when they were put away, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use them again, to be quite honest with you. They're a little bit manky inside them and it doesn't seem to be shifting. I can't remember where I got them now. I think they came with apple juice in them originally through a group buy. Yeah, so if any have a cheap source of those cubes in the UK, and by cheap I mean that it's not going to cost me 20 quid in shipping on top of whatever the price is, give me a shout. And that's about it. I'll update you on other bits and pieces over the coming week. And I just wanted to touch base, and I'll catch you again. Slán go fóill.